this morning. He was elected in 2011. One of the things that we like very much about Mayor Rawlings is that he has kind of earmarked domestic violence as one of the things that he wants to address. In fact, just a couple of months ago, he hosted a big gathering down at City Hall of men who made a commitment to eliminate domestic violence in a variety of different ways. It's a joy for us to welcome you to St. Paul. Come and please have some words. Mayor Rawlings.
This church is so important to the city of Dallas. I mean, not only for historical reasons, but for contemporary reasons. Where it is and what we're doing in Dallas right now. This is starting to be the epicenter of the whole McGill out there. And what you think about and do is so critical to us. When I became mayor, I wasn't planning on focusing my attention to domestic violence. But I lost my mother this last year, and she had a terrible bout of cancer, and quickly we got her at UT Southwestern, and in December she passed away. And you know, my mother was, you know, like everything to me. And when I had just lost her, I started picked up the paper, and I saw the story of a lady who worked at UT Southwestern, where my mom was, in those same halls, and I knew where she officed, who was shot in the back twice by her estranged husband, and then turned over and shot in the face a couple of times. And it just shocked me. I said, what's all that all about here in the United States of America, in the city of Dallas, and not only that, but in the same parking lot where we parked. And I started asking questions. And I realized that we had 26 domestic violence murders in the city of Dallas, and I'm not talking about the whole area, this last year, and 13 the year before, so a tremendous spike. With 13,000 police calls of domestic violence. 13,000 instances. And it's said that only 1 out of 4 actually calls to get police help. And I realized how serious that issue this was. And it was right on the heels of that Newtown massacre. And everybody was talking about gun violence, and then I realized there's something deeper here that these pastors know about the soul and about how we live day to day with each other. And I said, I've got to say something about what's going on. So I did. And it's real tricky to talk to women about an issue that impacts them. I just have always, I've had a lot of women work for me, and to talk to a woman about, you know, it's a real tricky thing, a man to a woman about this. And I realized that this was called a women's issue. You're having it here, a women's breakfast. But it really wasn't a women's issue. It's a man's issue.
Hello.
It's what the men do, and they've got the problems that create this. And so I decided to attack it a different way. I decided to talk to just men and say, enough is enough. And in fact, you can call a guy that hits a woman a lot of things, but you can't call him a man. This whole notion of masculinity in our society today has got to change. So there are 2 parts of this. One is what we're doing at the city, and what I'm challenging the district attorney to do, to make sure we quickly get to the victims of this terrible crime. Our police get there quickly. We arrest men that are in this situation, and then we prosecute them. Because that needs to be done. And I can walk you through the numbers, and it's not being done right now the way it should be. So there's changes that have got to be made here. But then there's cultural changes that have got to take place with young men and young women, where it's not even an option for a man to do this, a young boy to do this. And Bishop, you're exactly right. It is a baton that's passed from one generation to another. And we've got to break that. So we're going to be rolling out a program to sports teams, to educators, to churches. And I love you being the vanguard of this, because we've got to kind of bring this up, because it's a quiet little secret that no one wants to talk about. You know how these stigmas are. You don't talk about it, and it just kind of slips away, and meanwhile someone ends up dead because you didn't talk about it. And so, long story short, Pastor, that's what we're about, and that's what we're doing. I'm here to learn, to support your church and your congregation to do this, and help me think through this, how we can culturally change the city of Dallas. I'll tell you, you should be proud. I went to New York for a United Nations event, and I told them what the city of Dallas was doing, and they said, no place else in the world are men coming to the forefront on this issue. No place. And it's in India, it's in the Middle East, it's in South America, it's all over the place. And if we are going to leverage this faith-based community that we have that's so strong in Dallas, we need to leverage it against real change in homes across this town. And I think that's how we can do that. So God bless this congregation, this denomination, and you as the pastor. And let's work together to make this happen, and let's eat.